What are coral polyps? You might picture colorful coral reefs. But the real stars behind them are tiny, almost invisible animals you've probably never even heard of. Imagine swimming past a coral reef, admiring the colors. What if I told you those reefs are actually alive, built by creatures no bigger than a grain of rice? These creatures look nothing like the coral structures we see in photos. They're soft, squishy, and live inside a limestone shell. So here's the thing most people don't realize. Coral reefs aren't rocks. They're bustling underwater cities, built by thousands of coral polyps. So what exactly is a coral polyp? The coral polyp's meaning is simple. Each one is a soft-bodied animal, like a tiny sea anemone. It has a central mouth surrounded by tentacles. And it uses those tentacles to catch tiny food drifting by in the water. It sounds simple, but when millions of polyps work together, they build one of Earth's most complex ecosystems. Each polyp builds its own limestone house. And those houses stack on top of each other, layer after layer, year after year. Over centuries, they form structures so massive they can be seen from space. That's right, something the size of a sesame seed builds islands. Here's where it gets even wilder. These polyps of coral reefs don't build alone. They're master collaborators. Inside each polyp lives a microscopic algae called Zooxanthellae. The coral gives it shelter, and the algae returns the favor with food. How? Through photosynthesis. The algae turns sunlight into sugars. Sugars the coral uses to grow. And if you're wondering what gives coral its bright color, guess what? It's that algae. Without it, the coral turns ghostly white. Which brings us to the most dramatic moment in a coral polyp's life: bleaching. Here's a true story. In 2016, divers noticed entire sections of the Great Barrier Reef had turned bone white almost overnight. What happened? The ocean had warmed just a few degrees. And that tiny shift stressed the polyps. They expelled their algae and lost their color, their food source, and their survival partner all in one move. Coral bleaching isn't just about color, it's about collapse. It's like a forest losing all its trees in a single week. And when reefs die, it's not just the coral. Fish disappear. Sea turtles vanish. Even shoreline protection weakens. But here's something hopeful: if temperatures drop quickly, polyps can recover, new algae move in, growth resumes. And slowly the reef comes back to life. That resilience is what makes coral polyps both fragile and fierce. They're tiny, but they don't give up easily. So now let's go back. When someone asks, what are coral polyps? You can say they're architects of the ocean. They're animals with no brain, no bones, and no eyes. Yet they've shaped the coastline of entire continents. They've survived extinctions, ice ages, tsunamis, and they've outlived entire species by building one drop of limestone at a time. Even more amazing, some coral reefs are thousands of years old, built by generation after generation of these tiny animals. And here's a little puzzle for you. Can you guess how long it takes to grow 1 meter of reef? The answer? It can take up to 100 years. Yep, one slow centimeter at a time. So next time you snorkel or see a coral reef video, don't just admire the colors. Realize you're looking at a living monument. A monument to time, teamwork, and survival. All made possible by creatures most people have never heard of. And yes, that's the coral polyps definition that really matters. They're not just reef builders. They're the foundation of ocean life. So, if you care about sea turtles or clownfish or the balance of marine ecosystems, it all starts with coral polyps. Which brings us to the big takeaway. These creatures may be soft and silent, but their legacy is loud and lasting. Coral polyps may be small, but they build worlds, one drop of limestone at a time.